Yeah. They've been watching us all year. Man, they can't broadcast like we broadcast. Man, they can't love you like I love you. Let's talk. Yeah. Yeah, all these stations in the city get jealous when we link, tryna copy every move, tryna buy it how we think. They can't handle how you glow when you tune into me. Got them sick, insecure, full of jealousy. All these frequencies around us tryna pull you away, but you loyal to the wave that they just can't play. Let them hate, let them cry, let them plot what they plot. Everything envy the one they want, but now what they got. Yeah, I told you from the jump, I'm the signal they fear. Every station in the region wanna whisper in your ear, but they static when they talk, and I hear with precision. They just playlist with ads, I'm a whole damn vision. Digital ops lurking, terrestrial ones too. Trying to win your attention, but you only want truth. They've been running weak promos, trying to mimic my tone, but you tune into a king, you won't downgrade your throne. You told me they bore you, I excite what you feel. You said they drop filler, I drop passion, that's real. They bet for your time, I just command it with ease. Got them coughing up envy every time you breathe. All these stations in the city get jealous when we link, trying to copy every move, trying to buy how we think. They can't handle how you glow when you tune into me. Got them sick, insecure, full of jealousy. All these frequencies around us trying to pull you away, but you loyal to the wave that they just can't play. Let them hate, let them cry, let them fly what they plot. Everything envy the one they want, but now what they got. They call you on a low, trying to win you with fame, but they signals too weak to compete with my flame. I give you interviews, live, I give you truth uncut. They give you watered down, no,
Yo,
trying to
yo, yo,
keep
what's
you
up with y'all,
stuck.
man?
Every
It's
time
your
you
boy
ride
Big
with
Boss,
me, they
Everything
checking where
DMV
you
Radio,
at.
man.
Switching
This is
lanes,
we live.
slide,
We in
told
the
them they can
building
bounce
today.
back, but you
Got
still
an
by my side
artist
like
here.
you
We
used to
gonna get
around.
to
They can
know
feel what we
that
build,
y'all
they just
tapping
wasting
with
their
her.
time. I'm the
Going
station with the
on.
heat, with the
Boy
boots on
Boss,
the
y'all
ground.
know,
I'm the one that make the city feel
man.
proud of the sound. They just towers
Make
in the
sure you hit
distance
that
with a
like
fake
and
loud
subscribe button.
voice. You
Hit
don't
it.
chase those signals, you
Y'all know what it
made
is.
your choice. Said
Boy
I'm
Boss.
toxic, some
Yeah, let's get it. All right, man. So we got an artist here today for y'all. We're gonna introduce. Been doing her thing for a while. Been in the game. Just putting the content out there, putting the music out there. Does a number of other things too, but we definitely gonna let her explain that to you, tell you exactly what that's all about and how that works. So, with no further ado, we have AZA in the building.
Hi,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure to
thanks
have
for
you.
having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So, for the people who don't know you, can you just tell us a little bit about, who you are, and what you do?
Yeah, I'm an artist from Bethlehem, PA. I've been making music probably more so towards the past 5 years. I've been singing since I was about five. I went to the performing arts school around here for singing. I also write poetry. I love to paint. So just a very artistic person all around.
Absolutely. That made me want to ask you, are you left-handed?
I can write with both hands.
Oh, nice. Ambidextrous. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. What made you, say, okay, 5 years ago, like this is my time to jump into the music and start putting out music?
It was a lot of factors. I was going through a lot of mental health things in my life, and that led me down the road of wanting to make my own music more. I was on the tip where I was going after like poetry, and I'm like, I really want to get the poetry out here. And then I started falling more in love with songwriting, and I'm like, why not just combine the poetry and the songwriting, make my own songs? And I love to sing anyways, and that's what I started to do. And I'm like, I need to. I've written books, and I'm like, I need to put my music out there.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So, how long have you been doing poetry? And then, 5 years ago, when you decided to make that, transition with the poetry into the music, um, how did that come together as far as like producing that? So
Honestly, it all came together after I wrote. It was closer to like when I wrote my memoir. I had like a lot of like growing up, I was just through a lot of like dysfunction in my family and just dysfunction in general. And then I got to a point where I'm just like, I want to give back to society in the arts. And I'm like, I want to help other people to work through whatever they're going through, and in the process, I was helping myself work through my emotions and everything. And that's how I arrived at the music part of that. Cause I'm like, what better way um, to just give back than to be an artist that I'd want to hear. And that's what I started to do. I started to make music that I think other people would appreciate and that I like to hear. Like I like to listen to my music too from time to time. So that's
nice.
that's what yeah.
Nah, that's awesome. With
Thank
that said, how did your writing, because obviously you did, a lot of writing prior to the music. Um,
Yeah.
and with, everything going on with, the mental health, the family, how did writing help you kind of cope with everything that you had going on, or expressing yourself through your writings? Like, how did using that form help you?
It really helped me connect with my soul because I felt like from some of the trauma, like I just wasn't connecting with myself. I wasn't loving myself. I was in kind of like a dark place. And the writing just kind of like helped me find a path out of that. It helped me kind of step away from myself and my emotions and kind of like direct everything I'm feeling, like the anger, the sadness, whatever I'm feeling. I'm like, I can write about that. So it just helped kind of like direct everything.
Oh no, that's nice. A lot of people, don't reflect, so being that you had that time to reflect, in a way it was able to kind of heal what you had going on. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, in ways it really did heal, but I know I'm like a work in progress, so there's still stuff I have to heal from. And I've been wanting to touch on like more elements in my music because I talk about love, I talk about relationships, a little bit of politics, but there's like some deep rooted stuff I really want to explore, but I'm looking to do that more in the future, like with more music.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And what do you hope or wish to accomplish with that, with the audience that finds your music and like your music and want to listen to you? What do you plan on giving them by sharing your stories, your perspectives, and your views through your life experiences?
I want to give them what like just a good vibe and a good experience, but I also want them to know that they're not alone in what they're feeling because I've been through like so many different experiences in my life. Just battling with mental health alone is very hard. So I've been through that. There's that element. There's the dysfunction in my family. There's different societal things that you go through. And I want my audience to feel like this is a safe space and they can just vibe to my music and, you know, that they'll really just enjoy it for what it is, like for the music.
Yeah, no, that's powerful.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
thank you.
that's powerful. Um, not being alone or not being like the only one. Um, how do you think that knowing that can help, somebody, transition their current state to a better state?
I just remember like to talk about this, like for instance, like when I heard Pac growing up, like I felt like I was at my lowest, and that was one artist that always touched me because I loved his poetry, loved his acting, loved like everything. And I remember Baby Don't Cry really caught me at like a vulnerable part of my life. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, if I could be that type, not to the level where Pac was, but just like that type of artist that makes people connect with themselves, takes them out of like a dark place, and just helps them to move forward and have because I was just thinking my mind was just not in a good place growing up. I'll just be honest. And when I heard Baby Don't Cry, I'm like, oh man, it just was so powerful. I'm like, this just made me want to change course completely. And
Wow.
that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for people with my music.
Nice, nice. So that's amazing, because I think a lot of music do catch people when they're in, their certain states of, mindsets or, pursuits or, trauma and things like that. And oftentimes it, does help them, get through those times or and also keep the pursuit of what they have going on going. So to be able to, catch somebody in those moments and, for them to have an understanding of, what you're delivering and resonating with them personally, I think is very important. So to have that outlook and view on your music, now is I think leaps and mounds ahead of what some other artists, maybe think about or do when they coming out with music. So I do give you kudos for that, for
Thank you.
seeing that vision for your music. Um, were there other instances of other songs or, other pieces of poetry or maybe some books that you read that, also inspired you to want to share a message or of your own story, to reach people like those pieces, have reached you? And if so, what are they?
As far as like other pieces, like when I was younger, I was really inspired by Def Jam poetry. And I really, that inspired so much with my writing, just watching that. And I was blown away by the talent. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. It touched me and it made me want to continue writing. And I would say Langston Hughes really inspired me, like, Nikki Giovanni, Maya Angelou, just a lot of poets I was touched by. And as far as like singing, like Whitney Houston, Jennifer Hudson, I was really inspired by Common, The Roots, just so many artists that really shaped me like as a person. And I'm like, they influenced my singing, my writing.
That's nice. That's nice. So
Yeah.
so growing up, of course, you've listened to those artists that you just mentioned and tapped in with the poetry on those authors. Growing up, how did, music, kinda come into your life? Was it something that was just, like, always playing in the background, or was it, more of, like, family members or, different groups you were involved in? Like, how did music come into your life?
I honestly had like a love of music. My mother, when I was younger, she'd play a lot of hip hop, a lot of like R&B, and I started really loving music at like I just remember at 5, like really starting to sing. But I remember her playing it around like before then. And I was really the only one in my family that sang. Like, I don't really I don't really have a memory of anybody else really singing in my immediate family. And then when I got older, I realized that my paternal grandmother, like she sang, my other cousins sang, so that's where it came from. But I was honestly just so creative, and I wanted like it was just crazy that I was the only one that was singing, but music was such it had such a presence in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't really know when that presence started, but I just remember I say at 5 because that's when it clicked in that I wanted to be a singer. I'm like, I really want to do this, and I knew that from a young age.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
fast forward 2026, you've put out multiple, singles and projects. How does that feel? Like, from being 5, knowing you wanted to be a singer to now like actually, having art music out for the public to, come and, listen to what you have going on. How does that feel? And what would you tell your 5-year-old self, about that moment now?
Honestly, it's such a awesome feeling, and sometimes it touches me so deeply I start to even cry to my own stuff because of everything I've been through and just seeing where I'm at. Like just seeing my evolution over the years, and I just I didn't know, like my younger self, like I didn't know that I'd arrive at this point where I'm steadily making songs and just like changing my direction slightly, where I was really focused on the poetry, and now I'm still doing poetry but writing songs. It's just a different focus. And if I could tell my 5-year-old self something, I would just say to keep staying focused on the music despite what's going on around you and despite how things look, because it'll get better. And I also like the feeling when I'm making the music. It's a good feeling too, because my daughter and my other sons, like they really are into the songs, and I can tell like they're going to be looking for more songs too, so that keeps me going.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So
Yeah, thank
you
you.
put together this song that you sent me. Can you one, introduce it, and two, before you introduce it, just tell us a little bit about what went into making the song Time.
Oh well, time was such a personal song for me. Like I was talking about overcoming trauma, but at the same time, I was through an awakening with consciousness. And I didn't know this at the time when I made the song, but I'm really going through some of the things that are playing out in my music. Like I'm going through them presently. Some of them are in the past, but with time, I talked about having a concussion when I've had a concussion before and whiplash. That's why I said there is no contusion, feelings of seclusion. I'm talking about the hospital, just being in a mental seclusion. So I'm just bringing that all together, and I'm just saying what happens if we could change past, present, and future, and maybe even combine it, like what would happen out of that. And that's basically what I was thinking of when I wrote Time.
Nice, nice. And how long did it take you to put that one together? And who were some of the producers, or the beat selections, or how did all that come together with the song as well?
Sure. The producer was Lebanon Don, um, and the engineer was Meat Beats. He has Meat Beat Pro Studios in Bethlehem. Awesome guy, awesome studio. The song came together. I wrote the song in about an hour. We recorded it in about an hour. So altogether, it came about pretty quick. I try not to second guess myself too much in the studio. I just want to get in there, do what I have to do,
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah. Now, you did a great job with it.
Oh, thank you.
Tell everybody what they're about to listen to, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a play.
Yeah, you're about to listen to Time by AZA. Time is an illusion.
reasons why. I hearken to a still voice deep inside. I ponder my purpose with a weak sigh. How do you know time? I walk through a desert, no feeling high. I thirst for a wisdom money can't buy. I wander in ruins of sight. How do you know time? Time is an illusion. There is no confusion. There is no confusion. Feelings of seclusion. Time is an illusion. There is no confusion. There is no confusion. Feelings of seclusion. I heard an answer like an anthem in my mind. I held on to my person despite your lies. I ran through the valley, became its light. How do you know time? I heard an answer like an anthem in my mind. I held on to my person despite your lies. I ran through the valley, became its light. How do you know time? Time is an illusion. There is no confusion. There is no confusion. Feelings of seclusion. Time is an illusion. There is no confusion. There is no confusion. Feelings of seclusion. How do you know time? How do you know time? How do you know time? How do you know time?
Nice, nice. Yeah, so I like what you did with that. Oh man. It kind of gives me like a nostalgia of like, some like 90s movies, you know what I'm saying? I see like, Tommy Davidson Jr. like running through, the city trying to get somewhere or something like that. So I see like, some good sync opportunities with this track as well. But nice though. And yeah, I like the bass line. I think this is the bass line that I really like, or it might be the guitar. But yeah, no, great job, great job, great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, um, where do you because um the reason I'm about to ask this question, my uncle talks to me a lot and he talks about like, stuff like that, like time and space and all of this stuff, right? So it's like how were you able to, pull that kind of content out, because that's a really, really like important topic, like, you know, bringing it all together into the now, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, how did you, I mean, and you wrote that in an hour, like, that's like
Yeah.
super.
I honestly was just like hyper focused, and it started. I don't really second guess myself when stuff comes to my head. I just kind of go along with it. But then after the fact, I started like learning more. Like with college right now, I'm taking a consciousness course, and ironically, it's um it's talking about the stuff I'm learning in this course right now. But I didn't know all this stuff when I was making this. So so I don't really know. It just kind of I felt inspired and I just went with it from there.
Nah, that's amazing. It's like you just downloaded it like
Yeah.
into like existence, and then to be immersed in like an actual curriculum on it. It's like I know you just blowing your mind. Like, how did I? How did I? and
It
put
freaks me
myself
out.
right here. Yeah, I know it freaks you out. I got to. It's just like, what? Like, yeah, no, that's amazing. That is amazing. That's like,
Thank you.
when you were saying like, getting, in tune with or in touch with like yourself or like, you use the line, I can't remember exactly, but like that's like what this song is displaying. So wow, amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You do have other work out. Can you talk to us a little bit more about like, what's out there, what platforms you're on and different things like that as well?
Yeah, I have an EP under, it's called Zachariah. I have singles out such as like Feel the Love and It's a Strange America. Different, all different tracks with different vibes. All kind of on Spotify, on Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere pretty much.
Nice, nice. So when they tap into, you with, Time and then, Zachariah and your other singles, what kind of experience uh are they gonna get? What type of experience are your fans gonna get?
Well, with Zachariah specifically, I was working through a lot of heartbreak. So Zachariah was just like a feeling of working through a lot of heartbreak. It has, you know, there was a lot of passion in that album specifically. Not that there's not with my other songs, but I felt with that one I was telling a story from the first track down to the last track of the EP. So that one specifically, and then with all my other songs like Feel the Love, is just about like yearning for love. It's a Strange America's a little bit more political, which is another side of me. And you know I have another song, Under the Sun, and that's about like all the conflicts going on, and that like over with Palestine, over it's just very personal piece because my background, like I'm Egyptian, I'm Palestinian, so I have that. That was just a very personal piece for me. I just wanted to make that track. It's called Under the Sun.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So you're Egyptian and Palestinian.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. No, earlier I wanted to ask the question. Um, you know, what's your nationality, your ethnicity, and all of that? But you answered it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
That
Yeah. No.
really influences my music a lot too. Like just having all the like that background.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Zachariah, I can definitely relate and would want to hear that album only because, and I think that's a great connection piece in most music, especially with like, heartbreak and, things like that. But I remember I wrote maybe like 15 songs in one night. I was staying with
Oh,
my mom, and I had broke up with, like, my long-term girlfriend, and I literally stayed up one night and wrote, like, a whole album. I never put it out or anything like that, but she was so sick of me that night because I just kept singing them over and over and over, over again, but, yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I'm kinda a R&B head anyway, um
yeah.
but yeah, no, that's amazing. Where can people find you? What you know, social medias do you prefer, or is there an email or something for people to like connect with you if they wanted to, work with you, or
Mhm.
what's the best way to contact you, and where can they find you?
The best way to contact me is through my email, lovetheway92 at gmail.com. And my Instagram's good too. It's at the official as us, like all one word.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Now, for those who go in and tap into what you already have out, Can they expect anything coming up anytime soon? Any new releases, any new performances, or
Oh, yeah.
anything that, you have going on that they might be able to, participate in and support you?
Yeah, I'm releasing a video later in the year, probably towards July, of my song Time. And I'm working on an album actually right now. So that'll
Nice.
be out. Yeah, thank you. That'll be out later this year.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Mm.
Well, we enjoyed having you here. We enjoyed getting to know you, and we enjoyed listening to your song. So I definitely hope you come back when you do your video drop and when you drop your album. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you and seeing your journey unfold. So thank you,
Okay.
Azaz, for being here.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Uh, Yes, yes, yes. Another one. Yes, artist out of PA, Azaz. Go check her out. It's your boy Big Bach, Everything DMV Radio. We do this for the people. Definitely keep tapping in with me. Keep showing us love. Please like, share, and comment. And we'll be seeing y'all around. It's your boy Bach, Everything DMV Radio. Let's get it.
They've been watching us all year. Man, they can't broadcast like we broadcast. Man, they can't love you like I love you. Let's talk. Yeah. Yeah, all these stations in the city get jealous when we link, tryna copy every move, tryna buy it how we think. They can't handle how you glow when you tune into me. Got them sick, insecure, full of jealousy. All these frequencies around us tryna pull you away, but you loyal to the wave that they just can't play. Let them hate, let them cry, let them plot what they plot. Everything envy the one they want, but now what they got. Yeah, I told you from the jump, I'm the signal they fear. Every station in the region wanna whisper in your ear, but they static when they talk, and I hear with precision. They just playlist with ads, I'm a whole damn vision. Digital ops lurking, terrestrial ones too. Trying to win your attention, but you only want truth. They've been running weak promos, trying to